Okay, I only have 20 minutes before I leave to work, so let's make this good. This is a tag that was started by MathomBooks, and it is called the Inside and Out tag. First question. Inside flap of book summaries. Too much info or not enough? I would say often there is too much info. Sometimes I almost feel like I've been spoiled when I read the inside summary of the book, but usually they're pretty good. Never do I feel like there's not enough, really. New book. What form do you want it in? If you've seen my reviews, they are all of audiobooks. Definitely audiobook. I love audiobooks because you can listen to them whilst cleaning or exercising. I'm very busy, so with audiobooks I can read so many more books than I normally would be able to. S is for scribble. Do I scribble while I read? Do I write in my books? No. I've never written in a novel, no. Sometimes, like, studying in school, I've written in books, but never for a novel. I'm not sure why, it's just never been a thing I do. If I want to remember something, I will turn the page corner down, or if it's an audiobook, you can add a bookmark in the Audible app. It bookmarks a certain point in the book. So I do that sometimes if I want to remember where a certain scene is and I want to come back to it, but I've never written in the book. It's not really because I don't want marks in them. I respect my books, but I kind of like it when they look loved, dog-eared and such. Look at this Secret Garden, it's just like, it's completely... yeah, because I've read it to death, and I kind of like it when they look like that. And there's a couple of corners that are folded down. They're probably scenes that I really like. So that's kind of how I like my books to look. I know a lot of people will be horrified by this, but that's just how I do. So, but yeah, I don't write in them. I don't know, I just never felt a need to. But yeah, I don't care if people do write in their books. Oops, that's why you shouldn't stack books like that. Oh, and also for this Scribble, since I've started to decide to do video book reviews, I have also started vlogging while I'm reading. So if I'm reading and it's a really, oh my god, scene, I'll just take out the camera and I'll film my reaction to it, and you will have seen a couple of those already in my book reviews. And I've also got a lot more footage of vlogs that I've done whilst reading books in the last few months, so you'll see that in upcoming book reviews. And some of it is really funny, and I think it just adds another element to the book review. And also not for that, also just for me, like, so I can see what I was thinking when I read the book, and vlogging is just a really easy way to do it, whether I see it or whether everyone sees it. So yeah, I think it's a really good tool. I is for, in your best voice, read for us your favourite sentence. First sentence from a book I can't talk today. This line I'm going to read is from the book Sprout by Dale Peck, which is one of my favourite books. Psst. I have a secret, and everyone knows it. I think I say nose wrong. How do Americans say nose? Like K-N-O-W-S. Nose. That just... is that right? Nose? Whatever. That's my favourite first line of a book. When I was actually trying to find a book to do it, a lot of books really have really crappy first lines. Weird, but like the rest of the book is awesome. I don't know, but that was the favourite one that I could think of. It was actually the first one I thought of, but I went through a few other books just to make sure I wasn't missing something awesome. D. It's for, does it matter to you whether the author is male or female when you're deciding on a book? What if you're unsure of the author's gender? The author's gender does not really influence my book selection, but I do particularly like it when the main character in a book is the opposite gender of the author. I just find it interesting. Some really good examples of this are the Tomorrow series by John Marsden. The main characters are female, and the way he writes her is flawless. If I read it without knowing who the author was, I would have said that it was absolutely a female, no doubt, in my mind. So that's definitely the best example I can think of, and other really good examples would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green and Harry Potter books. I've always preferred to write about boys. Don't know. That's just what I like to do when I write, so yeah, it interests me. E is for ever read ahead. Do you skip to the last page before you get there or anything? No, I have never done this. When I was younger, one of my friends said that she sometimes skipped ahead in books because she got bored and wanted to know what happened, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, why? So I've never done this. If I'm reading this page, I will actually like cover the page as I read with my hands so that I don't read ahead. Because sometimes I am tempted to, but I don't want to spoil myself, so I do that. Organized bookshelves or outrageous bookshelves. Oh my god, my books are spectacularly disorganized. Most of the books that I read, like as a kid, and like all my Harry Potter books and all that kind of thing, are at my parents' house. I only took a few books with me. Whenever I go back, I'd sometimes find a book that I'd forgotten to take and that I wanted. Like this trip I brought White Cat back with me because I'm like, why don't I have that? I want to read that again. I don't actually have a bookcase in my room at the moment, so my books are just stacked around my room, basically. So this is where I keep most of my books and also some of my shoes. The funny thing about these books is that I haven't read most of them. I got them from the guy who lives in the flat underneath my house, and he said his mum gave them to him and she didn't want them. So most of the books on top I've read, and the books on this side I've read a lot of too. A Harry Potter audiobook there, Mortal Instruments books, Shakespeare, Harry Potter, Hunger Games Crescendo, that was an awful book, Dan Brown, and oh, aren't those shoes cute? Yes, my floor is a mess, and no, I am not trying to burn A Widow in Waiting. It is on my heater because I'm about to use it as my tripod. And there's where I dumped all those books I was given. I plan to use them for those book exchange shelves at cafes because they're not really my thing. Sorry if you were horrendously offended by my treatment of my books, stacking them on the floor. But I don't know, my room is pretty tiny and there's not really anywhere else to put them. You is for Under Oath. Have you ever bought a book based on the cover alone? I don't think I've ever done this. Maybe if I was browsing at the library when I was younger. I used to go to the library every day after school because I lived in the middle of nowhere and I had to wait for my parents to pick me up because we weren't allowed to take the bus. And so when I was browsing, yeah, sure, I reckon I would have picked up books based on the cover, but I've never bought a book based on the cover alone. So yeah, I would say that probably applies to browsing at the library, but I haven't done that in a long time. T is for, do I take it outside to read or stay in? When I read an actual physical book, it's normally when I'm on the train or a bus or on a plane, so I guess that counts as indoors. Or I read in bed until I fall asleep. With audiobooks, if I'm exercising, that will be outside, so I guess you could say it's kind of about 50-50. I do like to read real books outside. When I was on holiday about a couple of months ago, I went to Tweedheads for a holiday and I bought The Fault in Our Stars, and I read most of that at the beach, so that was really cool. And it was good, but like it's not what I always do. Like I don't go to the beach every weekend and sit reading books, but if I'm on holiday, then yes, I will read outside. That's all the questions. Okay, and I have 6 minutes before I have to leave for work, so I recorded this video in record time. Thank you to MathomBooks for starting the tag. This was really fun. I hadn't done a tag before and I thought I should do one. Alright, please like if you liked this and subscribe if you'd like book reviews from me. I think the next one I'll plan to do is the first book of the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Ness. Bye! Psst. I have a secret and everyone knows it. That was a terrible accent. Try again. Psst. I have a secret and everyone knows it. Knows. And everyone knows it. Knows. I have a secret and everyone knows it. I have a secret and everyone knows it. Okay, let's try again.